Hey.
Key and Jay providing the soundtrack. Good morning. Here is the soundtrack you need to know if you miss Monday Night Football. Essentially, everything you just heard. Giants with a touchdown, driving in for a 2-point conversion. And you got Daniel Jones trying to hit Dion Lewis, coincidentally one of Brady's old teammates.
I know, right? He's been around forever.
Yes,
Man,
he has.
He had a hell of a kick return to start the second half, though. I'll tell you that.
Yes, and the man at the center of it all, Antoine Winfield Jr., who, I recall his dad was a pretty good player back in the day.
A good corner in Minnesota, good corner in Buffalo.
And his son?
Smaller guy, but strapped, feisty. I like Twan. That was like one of my fun DB buddies that I played against. Because he wasn't disrespectful. He wasn't nasty. He just played football and enjoyed it.
He was a great player. His son is turning out to be a great player, too. People are very high on him, but he was at the center of it all for a PI that was essentially thrown down, flag picked up. Anyway, the Giants, again, a heartbreaker. Think about this for a second.
It's so funny, though, but I knew that. I wasn't going to let myself fall into that trap. As I set up and I watched from beginning to end, I've seen every single snap. But I wasn't going to, I'm like, man, I've seen this before, man. I'm not even, Brady will win with 2 minutes to go. Here we go. And then Daniel Jones threw the pick when they was marching. I was like, this dude they got the ball back for you midfield, fool. And then you go and you do that. I'm talking to the TV at this time. Obviously, everybody's asleep, and it's just me, And I didn't want to text you guys because I figured the only person would be up, maybe be Jay. All the rest of the producers, they go to bed like at 7. So it's like, I just was like, I knew it was going to happen, though. I just knew Brady was just.
And it did happen.
It did happen.
But what we didn't think was going to happen would be the ultimate collapse of the Pats. We knew they'd struggle. They wouldn't be as good. That's pretty obvious. But that's where we want to go here this morning because this is something you guys have sort of had a divergent path on. The idea that New England is struggling, and that by osmosis, even though the Bucs are 6-2, playing well, Super Bowl front runner, that somehow Brady is being elevated. He was good last night, 28 for 40, 279, solid as they come. But the fact that his play and the Bucs play is a little artificially elevated because of what's going on in New England.
Yeah.
Is that legitimate?
I think he kicks it up a notch. 2 weeks ago, they played the Chicago Bears, and everybody was going, oh, God, what is this? Guy's getting senile. He's getting old, 4 fingers, and then you fast forward, they win a week ago, they win this week, and now all of a sudden, they're the toast of the town and the Super Bowl favorites coming into the Giant game, coming out of the NFC. They're the Super Bowl team. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, okay, we need to stop kicking it up a notch. Yes, the Bucs are worthy and deserving of being in the position that they're in, but you can't tell me that over the last 3 weeks as Tampa Bay starts to play and win games and New England starts to suffer and lose games, that all of a sudden we're focused in on Brady getting to the Super Bowl. So when I say we, I mean as a media is wanting him to hurry up and get to the Super Bowl and the Pats not get there so we can create Brady's Super Bowl, Bill Holmes scouting combine. That's what they want to push that narrative. Now, Brady's played well, and he's deserving of the accolades that he's getting with the Bucs, but I just think that it's being pushed up a little too soon because all of a sudden we forgot about Seattle. We all of a sudden forgot about New Orleans. Even though Michael Thomas hasn't played, they continue to keep winning football games.
Yeah, how about that? We'll talk about that later.
And so you forget about those teams. You also forgot about Green Bay, even though Aaron Rodgers got a little stinker going. 2 weeks ago, after Chicago beat Tampa Bay, we were sitting there going, well, Nick Foles, this is a recipe that could get them to the Super Bowl. They run the ball, play defense, and he just doesn't turn it over. Those are the conversations. And as New England continues to lose now, the conversation keeps getting pushed by Tampa Bay's going to the Super Bowl, even though Russell Wilson just threw for whatever he threw for the other day. It's just my thought. Maybe I'm completely off on this. Who knows?
No, I think you're on point. I think two things can both be true. I think, is there a push for the Bucs to get to the Super Bowl, considering the Super Bowl's in Tampa Bay? Of course. They're still playing really well. Mike Evans played well last night. They don't have Chris Godwin. They're getting Antonio Brown back. I mean, they have the pieces. We both know that Tom Brady plays his best football November and December. Is there a push because the Patriots are not playing well and the Bucs are? Yes. But at the same time, I don't think a lot of people have forgotten about Seattle, but people do remember the fact that if you're going to use the argument, what happened with Chicago and the Bucs? All right, well, what happened with Seattle and Arizona? If you want to use the argument about what's going on with Green Bay, all right, well, how about the stinker that Green Bay just had with Minnesota? If you want to use the thing with KC, all right, KC versus the Raiders. Everybody has holes that they need to fill to a degree, Key. But you can't not acknowledge the fact that Tom Brady has 6 Super Bowl rings, 9 Super Bowl appearances, plays his best football this time of year that we're coming into. Look at the weapons that he does have. Those elements are true as well. Correct?
He has his Super Bowls. He has his rings. And Tampa Bay is a hell of a football team. They're one of the top 3 teams within the conference. But it seems to me that the national media is now elevating Tampa to surpass those Seattles, those Green Bays, not necessarily and the Saints, and not necessarily based on their record and their play, but based on the struggles in New England and the success that Tom Brady is having. So they want to push that up a notch to make it so that it's a story.
I hear you, Keith.
Opposed to he's winning football games. They got a good team. They got a good roster. They're winning games. It's now he's going to the Super Bowl. He's the number 1 favorite. It's like, well, wait a minute, man. I think them dudes in the Pacific Northwest will have something to say.
I'm with you. I think that's one team. I mean, I think Seattle. I mean, do you think Green Bay is better than Tampa Bay?
Well, they played head-to-head.
Do I think Green Bay is better than Tampa Bay?
They played.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
I mean, so I understand what you're saying about. All right, we'll go on a break. We'll talk about that when we come back from break.
I try not to answer you because he already told me go to break.
I think Seattle is the one team that you can say if their defense continues to live up. Jamal Adams comes back. Dunlap, they're the team. But I don't know if any other team is better than Tampa Bay.
The Saints beat Tampa. Go ahead, Z. You got to get the break.
I understand. Beginning of the year, though. A lot of things. This is a different Tampa Bay team now.
It's a week-to-week league. As you mentioned, Foles riding high. Now nobody wants him. By the way, the national media, full of guys like me's and you's. That's
no, not
time.
me. I don't have a media credential.
All right. Keyshawn J. Will Zubin, presented by Progressive Insurance. Quoting home insurance just got easier with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer. Quote and buy all online at progressive.com. Still to come, we love the countdown clock here. We're 9.5 hours away from the NFL trade deadline. Big names on the docket. And speaking of big names, after missing 6 weeks now, are the 49ers ready to deep six it?